Tobacco and alcohol compliance checks are conducted by law enforcement on a routine basis for the purpose of keeping these products out of the hands of minors. This video is intended to give you a brief overview of how tobacco and alcohol compliance checks are conducted in our community. The day of the compliance check has arrived. The minor arrives at the law enforcement center and is greeted by an officer. Soon after arrival, a photocopy is made of their photo ID, and a photo is taken of the minor. This photo is used to show how the minor looks at the time of the compliance check. It shows that the minor isn't making themselves look older by wearing a lot of makeup, wearing dark sunglasses, wearing a baseball cap, or any other article of clothing that would make it difficult to identify their age. Any consent forms needed are also collected, and they must be signed appropriately by their parents and themselves before the compliance check may begin. After these preliminary things have been taken care of, the minor and an officer will head out in a personal vehicle or an unmarked squad car and proceed to your establishment. First, we will demonstrate a tobacco compliance check. Upon arriving at the establishment for a tobacco compliance check, the minor will exit the car and head into the business. The officer overseeing the compliance check will then wait a number of seconds and then also enter the business. The minor will approach the counter and attempt to make a purchase. They may buy additional items along with the purchase attempt. The minor will ask for a pack of cigarettes or chewing tobacco and attempt to make a purchase. At this point, the sales clerk should ask for proper identification. Failure to ask for identification and allowing the sale to take place will lead to a citation for selling tobacco to a minor. After you've asked for the proper identification and have determined that the person is underage, you can then refuse to sell to that person. The minor will then leave the store, and the officer will also leave the store. The officer will be filling out a compliance check form for every business they check, regardless if a sale is made or not. If a tobacco sale has been made, the officer will approach the counter after the minor has left the business. The officer will show identification and inform the sales clerk that they have made an illegal sale to a minor. The officer will then obtain identification from the sales clerk and proceed to issue a citation. Next, we will demonstrate an alcohol compliance check. For alcohol compliance checks, the process is similar. The minor will enter the establishment alone and proceed to get a case of beer or other alcohol and place it on the counter and attempt to purchase. At this point, the sales clerk should ask for proper identification. After proper identification has been produced and you have determined that the person is underage, you can then refuse the sale to that person. If an alcohol sale has been made, the minor will leave the business. The officer will then ask the minor to describe the individual that made the illegal sale. The officer will then enter the business and identify the clerk that made the sale. He will then inform the sales clerk that they have made an illegal sale to a minor. This is a gross misdemeanor violation, which carries a more severe penalty than tobacco sales. Officers cannot issue citations for this offense. The officer will obtain the ID of the clerk that made the illegal sale. They will go back to the police department and file a police report. This report will be sent to the county attorney's office. The county attorney will then draw up a complaint against the clerk, and they will be summoned into court. Here are some tips on how to properly identify an individual. The most common and widely used form of identification is a driver's license. This form of identification carries a number of security features to help ensure that the ID is authentic. One feature is the magnetic strip on the backside of the ID. If your business has an ID reader, you can easily and effectively tell someone's age by simply sliding the ID through the reader. This reader will then tell you how old this individual is. This eliminates the need to do math in order to figure out how old the person is. Other features are located on the front of the ID. If the person is under the age of 18, you will see two distinct features on this ID. One of them is a red box around their picture that says under 21 at the top. The other feature is the date they turn 18. This date is printed next to the birth date of the individual. This person is not able to purchase tobacco or alcohol. If the individual is between the ages of 18 and 21, the ID will look similar to this. The under 21 red box is visible around the picture of the person. The birth date is displayed like normal. Note there is only one birth date displayed. The individual is over the age of 18, and the birth date that the individual turns 18 is not displayed. This individual can purchase tobacco, but not alcohol. If there is no birth date that the individual turns 18 displayed, and no red box that indicates that the individual is under the age of 21, then the person is over the age of 21 and can legally purchase tobacco and alcohol. One important step in properly identifying an individual seems simple but can easily be overlooked, especially when using an ID reader. This step is simply making sure the ID that you are given is indeed that person. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Does the picture look like the person that gave you the ID? Does the age and birth date match the individual? Does the ID look fake or feel different? Pay close attention to these things, as many minors will obtain an older individual's ID in order to purchase these items. Don't just scan the ID in a reader and determine they are old enough without checking the picture and information. It may not even be their ID. In closing, we hope you have learned the process that law enforcement uses to check establishments for the proper identification of minors, as well as what to look for when checking if someone is of age to purchase tobacco or alcohol. Remember, it's your job to check these IDs and to keep these products out of the hands of minors. Funding for this production was provided by Freeborn County Partners in Prevention, working to prevent and reduce youth alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use among Freeborn County youth.